Okay, so I'm back doing another one of these fat finger demos, and this time I want to talk about doing some Lisp. So it's going to be really hard to do any kind of emacs configuration without knowing Lisp. Okay, so let's get into emacs. Not doing that. Just get right in the. Let's just now we're in the scratch buffer. Now, one of the things that let's start talking a little bit about this. There is something which is an interactive Lisp mode, and we can describe mode for help, but we're not going to do that. In most programming languages, I guess what you're going to be used to, that you see a function, like function name, let's say add, and 1, 2. So Lisp is different, that everything's built up lists. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's like a list, and whatever the first element is in the list is going to be a function. So here, if we can do add, and if you actually hear the plus symbol, we're going to be add, and it gave us help 10. So that's pretty much, if you do anything from the help manual and you see the functions, that's how you call the function. So we can say like message. You have message, and we can say hello, and we see on the bottom that spit out hello. Yep, so that's pretty much basic stuff. The other thing that you're going to want to do is to set variables or symbols. Here in Lisp they call them symbols. Symbols can be pointing to either a function or a function or another list or a atoms. So the lists are made up of things like atoms. Like 1 is an atom, 2 is an atom. A is an invalid symbol, but it would be an atom if we had defined it. String A is an atom. Okay, so let's see. Let's set the variable. Use the set function. Set. And we say the symbol that we want to use. And I know right away there's going to be an error. Let's set A to 1. Now, why is that not valid? Because it's trying to evaluate already A and give me what value is stored in A. So we want to know that if we want to say no, we want to use this the symbol A into that, we need to quote it. So you give a single quote, and now we have A is set to A, evaluates to 1. This is probably one of the things that you're going to be using the most, but what you're probably going to use more than that is set Q. Set Q is a shorthand that you don't need to use this A. Because you don't need to put the quote in front of the symbol that you're trying to define. And you can also do a few at a time. So I can do B, I can set to 2. Yeah, so I have A 1, B 2. Yeah, I could even do, I could set one variable to another, but I think it's pretty obvious. There's if. If is like any other function, so you can read the help for it. Fat fingers, here we go. If true, let's say message. It's good. Right? And then you also have an else afterwards. Here we can do message. Not so good. Then here, let's set this to nil. So in this, we have to close the parentheses. In this, you have, for your booleans, you have true, or you have nil. Yep. So nil is also the same thing as the empty list, which is also nil. So anything else if that's 1 is going to be equal to true. So I'm going to, is it equals? I don't think it's equals. 1, see? No. But you can, I think it's is nil is there's a function is no. Is no 1. No, is no, where is it? Is no. Don't remember. No? Oh, so that's it. It's no. That's weird. So we can do no. 1 is going to give us false. Anything except for nil or the empty list is going to give us. Okay, so that's pretty much all that you can need for getting started with running Lisp for configuring emacs. These are just the basics. Anything else you can always run Control H F and you can get the description of a function. So we did if before, so it'll tell us how to use if. Or you can do so unless, which is like the opposite of if. For basically for your Emacs configuration, you're not going to need much for this, much more than this. The set Q is probably going to what you're going to use the most for setting variables. So you can also get descriptions of variables with Control H, V, right? Let's get back here. One other thing I wanted to show, something that I've been using quite a bit here, is that you can evaluate code in while you're running it, while you're writing it. So message now if you control XE and it evaluates the code and prints out the result in the mini buffer. So this thing, like something, if you're setting a variable, say I wanted to set a variable for the rest of my Emacs session, I can do set Q, I don't know, so should have thought of something before. Let's see, menu, is there something menu? No, not function, sorry. Actually, menu. Theme. No. Not sure what I wanted to set, but let's say that we just want to set the variable A for the rest of our Emacs session. I can do here now Control XE. Yeah. And now it's set the variable A to 1. So there's other things that you want to look at that you might want to set during runtime, and this will let you do that. Or you can add in a function, which is out of scope of what I want to talk about here. But you could add in a function and install it at runtime. Or if you can see in our Emacs config that we were running, that as I write configurations that I want to add, so we could do like use package. What's a good package I want to use? Magit we already said. Let's just Magit. Now I can run this now. And it says nil because Magit's already installed, but that's so I could run it now and then I would have Magit. So that's just getting started with Lisp. Just the basic amount that you'll probably need to use for configuring Emacs. Later you're going to want to write more complicated stuff, but I think just using the ifs for setting variables. There's one that I think it's what is it? Graphic. You can check if you're in a graphical environment. No? What was it? Don't remember. Should have looked it up. Okay, so that's enough for now. Let me know how this works for you. If this isn't working, then you can subscribe. So we're getting on 10 minutes rambling. That's enough of this. Call it. Have a good week.